Hey, excuse me. Hi, Scorpio. This one is for you. That's you, Scorpio. This is Terra Lumination with your general report, December 2017. Okay? We've done this before. You know the drill. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising, and squish it all together and reinterpret, you know, make it your own story. All right? Cards were well shuffled in advance. I want to go to the last second so that you're a witness. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, none of that, not even any reversals. Sorry. We're just going to keep it very basic. I like to use the journey of the heart spread, as I like to call it, and just go from there. I think we said everything right. We're just going to dive in. Oh, Scorpio. Yeah, of course. We got the big thing going on, Jupiter and Scorpio for the next year. It's a big deal. And right now, you've just been living through a huge Scorpio cluster vortex thing. And now it's all moving into a Sagittarius cluster vortex. But the Scorpio Jupiter thing is still going to be there for another year. And, you know, Jupiter expands. So, you know, it's great, you know, when things are great. But like if things are out of whack and out of alignment with you, Scorpio, you're really going to notice it. And that Jupiter in Scorpio transit is really going to amplify and bring it out for your attention. So please treat that as a gift, okay? Please treat all of it as a gift, okay? Cards were already shuffled. Let's just go for it, all right? All right, there we go. We're going to cut, and we're going to read for you, dear Scorpio, all right? I'm trying to break up the deck so we don't get clusters. So this would be the heart, core energy. Pulsing, pulsing, pulsing. You might not even have a language for it. It's the limbic part of yourself. It's the part that rejoices. It's the part that feels the pain and the sorrow. It's your heart, okay? It's with you, pulsing to the moment you're born, to the moment you die. So from there, what are you bringing in with you? Okay, you've gone through, let's say, a 12-year cycle. Let's just do something with the Jupiter and Scorpio thing, and you've just lived through a 12-year cycle. Let's just say that's what this is here. This is a legacy of 12 years. We could say that here. It could be just 12 days, 12 weeks, whatever, but let's go big, all right? And what about the ever-present now? That's this energy. You know, with the laws of attraction, you're always living in the now. You know that. You've read your books. You watched your videos. There's the thing we call the past. There's the thing we call the future, but you are in the now, okay? Always, always, always making your decisions, okay, in the now. Understanding that, like it or not, we live in this thing called time. And so we have the past and the present and the future. And when we face the future, that's where the opportunities lie. But they can't be activated unless we make decisions. If you outsource your decisions, then your opportunities become, you know, random. If you own your decisions, then you have a chance of, let's say, manifesting your destiny more effectively. So the more you love yourself, the more you make decisions that are very loving and self-loving, that's what's best for you, which is also best for the others in your surroundings. Then that would be this energy here. And if you still believe that life comes at you and you're supposed to react, then this would feel like fate accordingly. But if you're already very deeply involved in creating your own life by decision, then this would feel more like what you deserve, so to speak, or what would make sense coming at you, like you had brought this to you, okay? And this is like the energy of what if. Oh my gosh, like when you're making these decisions, facing into the unknown, what if you mess up? What if things all work out? Good question. And this is where it all kind of leads. There's the momentum, okay? So I'm hoping can you see that heart shape there? I'm trying to make it as best as I can to look like a little heart for you. And this is you at the very core, you know, pulsing, living your life. Under here, we're going to look at circumstantial energy. Call it the weather, okay? And you, Scorpio, are going to make the best of it, all right? And you've got 3 of Cups. So you might have something to celebrate right now, and that would be understandable. It's about time. It's almost like rejoice. Jupiter is in Scorpio. Thank you very much. It's almost like party time. I'm not saying go out and get blasted. All I'm suggesting is like, give yourself an extra special treat and take your buddies with you. Enjoy the great benefic. Enjoy the amazing energy that comes with Jupiter and Scorpio. At its ultimate vibration, Jupiter and Scorpio energy is ultimately about deep soul vibrational energy healing. Okay? That's the ultimate. Of course, it can also mean hanging out with your buddies and saying, I feel like a good year is coming up ahead. I want to take everybody out for ice cream. Thank you very much. It's on me. All right? So, good on you, Scorpio. All right? So, what's going on at the heart core? Duh. Well, great. I'm glad you see this as a new beginning because it really, really is. It's almost like having a chance to start all over as though like it didn't really matter. Like, yeah, you messed up at this. Yeah, you messed up at that. And yeah, the future could be very daunting. Maybe you don't really know the facts and the details or have all the evidence lined up for you. Maybe you don't have, a 30-page guidebook of how your life is going to unfold over the next year. But it's exciting, Jupiter and Scorpio, that can be exciting for you. Jupiter is kind of like that Sagittarian energy of like excitement, go forth, climb ever higher, seek higher wisdom, higher consciousness, higher knowledge. And yeah, we're kind of taking it to the limit here with the Fool card. All I'm suggesting is just don't go overboard. It's very exciting, and it could be, let's just say, let's go back to the three little cups here. It could very much be about love and healing and celebrating the energy of love and healing coming into your life in a way that is very tangible to the point where you can celebrate it and share that with others. Okay. Even though at some level it might have taken you 12 years to get to this realization, and now you have starting another 12-year cycle, and that's great. It's the brand new you. It is literally the brand new you. Okay. And you feel it and you're going for it. So awesome, Scorpio. Grab it. Of course, it takes a lot of courage. Sometimes blind courage is the best thing, though. Okay, what are you bringing in? Okay, well, look from the excuse me with the Nine of Pentacles here. To me, it feels like an indication that you have kind of been through the grinder. Okay, you've been through it. You've lived through these last 12 years, these last couple of years especially. You might have lived through some incredibly challenging periods, especially when it was Saturn through Libra, Saturn through Scorpio, and now Saturn through Sagittarius. Those are actually very challenging points. The 12th house, the first house, and the second house. Sorry, excuse me, I'm talking gibberish right now. Pardon me for all of that. All I'm suggesting is that you've been through the grinder and you've come out the other side with a degree of stability and independence that you can claim as your own. It might still be a little, let's say, fragile because, again, coming through a grinder and having lived through like the whole of let's say, a Jupiter and Scorpio cycle and then starting again, you've picked up a lot of, let's say, tangible evidence on the way about what really, really works for you and what really, really doesn't work for you. And you're basically taking the good stuff with you, bringing the good stuff with you, okay? And that's very, very valuable, okay? So, excuse me, I was thinking about those the planetary movements. Forget about it. We can do another video for that or something. What about the present now? Okay, so as you enter this new chapter, as you start this whole new life again, and you're bringing in your knowledge, your wealth, your skills, your independence, your abundance with you, and everything that makes you definably you, without having to, let's say, ask anybody else's permission. That puts you in a position of great strength moving forward. However, it could also lead you to being a little bit, let's just say, when you're ending a big chapter in life and you have to go on, and you could have this feeling like, I've lived through so much already. I put everything I had into this. I put everything I had into this. I loved this. I loved her. I loved him. I loved this child. I loved my parents. I loved my mom. I loved this. I loved. I was loved. I was loving. I was loved, and all of that. And yet there's more to do, more to go, more wisdom to understand, higher knowledge, higher wisdom to attain. And that's okay. And that's your private journey. Okay, you can share that with others. You can definitely share your life and your bounty and your love with others, but it's still you on your journey, especially the new spiritual pathway unfolding for you with that Jupiter energy. Okay, it's very deeply, closely aligned with Neptune and Pisces right now. So, gosh, I keep going on the astrology stuff. I want to avoid that, but please understand there's some very, very supportive things happening for you right now, Scorpio, for a year ahead now, starting right now. It just started very recently when Jupiter went into Scorpio, and it's really going to start to pick up steam over the next year, where the big Jupiter and Scorpio thing is going to be very nicely, comfortably aligned with Neptune and Pisces, which is very much about going on that spiritual journey. Bringing with you what you know works, but we're taking it to a whole new level now, a much, let's say, much higher frequency of like spiritual conduct, spiritual integrity than you've ever known before. And that's just part of life. That's evolution. We're always growing and growing by our decisions. So let's talk about the decisions here. In the moment, in the now, what kind of decisions are you making? Okay, well, this is very valiant. This is the understanding that yes, Scorpio, you're going to have to make big decisions. You have to do it. And so you're just going to do it bravely and courageously, fearlessly, and trust that you know what has to be done, when it has to be done, and how to do it, because you have some degree of mastery here. Okay, it might be a little bit like that feeling of, with that jubilation that comes with Jupiter. It might be a little over the top. You might feel a little overqualified than you actually are to go charging ahead, but that's okay. It takes a lot of confidence to start a whole new cycle like this. So don't worry about it. Also, with the Knight of Wands here, what I'm feeling is that you're going to need this. You're going to really need this, because even though the Jupiter in Scorpio transit is very supportive and very beneficial for you, especially when you go into the the spiritual aspects, how it trines up very, very nicely with Neptune and Pisces, it's still taking you up to much higher standards, much higher frequencies, like higher mountains that you've known before, where there are fewer people, where there's less oxygen, where your gadgets and dials and compasses don't work so well anymore. It gets very, very rarefied the higher up the mountains you go, those spiritual landscapes. So it takes a tremendous amount of courage to do that. But luckily, you've got it. Jupiter is providing you with the courage and the support that you need, because you're going to need it. And if things get really scary and you have to become a little bit over the top courageous to get through some massive chasm or some massive gulf that's presenting itself to you, then great. It's good to have this at hand. Just don't get carried away with it and think you can do anything anytime you want for any reason, because that's almost like a guaranteed way to trip up and fall. Okay, so we don't want that. So making these big decisions, exciting as it is, how are we going to do that in a loving way so that it works for you? What is your priority? What's it going to be? How is it going to be for you to make those loving decisions that are all about loving yourself first, because that's what counts? Well, guess what? You're going to do it because you have the opportunity now. It's almost like this is being handed to you from heaven. It's a very powerful divine message from the angels above that the healing power of love, that the energy of heaven is all that really counts in the end anyway. Love is always the answer. Love is always the best medicine. Love is always the best choice. It might not be the easiest choice. Love is as love does. When you're making these big decisions, these bold leaps, these courageous new steps into your future, it's always about doing the most loving thing for you first, loving yourself first, not just jumping blind and going crazy with all this abundance, but really understanding how amazing it is to be so fortunate and have these opportunities unfolding in front of you, having some stability and independence yourself already, understanding that you're going to be moving on and leaving, let's say, a history behind. How we fall in love with our stories, even our war stories, like, oh, I did this amazing thing in the battle and I was crushed, but I had the scars and the wounds to show it. And then I did this amazing thing, but it didn't work out. And I did this amazing thing and it did work out. And we fall in love with that and we forget about the present and the future. We dwell in the past. That's not going to happen for you. Making the decisions, always looking forward. What is the very most loving decision? It's to recognize that the healing power of love is out there all the time, and it's always up to you every moment, every conscious waking decision to grab it, own it, keep it, and have it shamelessly, because it's there. Angels want you to know that. It doesn't come up in a drip or just you get one drop now and again when they feel like it. The whole idea with the energy of heaven is that it's like a faucet. It's like you turn it on and it flows like energy, okay? Be loving, be loved. So the question is, let it flow. How do you let it flow? You make the decision to let it flow. You make the decision to radiate love. You make the decision to receive love. You are a transceiver. You are radiating and you are transmitting and you are receiving. Both, all of it at the same time. You allow yourself to receive big love. You allow yourself to give big love whenever the opportunity arises. So, what does that bring? Okay, what would you expect? Oh, whoa. Okay, it's almost like being recognized and celebrated for that ability to do that and be that loving. Okay, it's very, it's a journey of courage. Okay, and it just happens to be that this is your particular chapter where it's all on you, Scorpio, now, where it's your turn to have a chance to go on that big merry-go-round ride for 12 years where it can work for you, so long as you always make those courageous decisions to act in love, make the most loving decisions for you, love you first, because that's what's best for everybody. But guess what? When you do that, other people smell it. It's like an aura. It's like a perfume. It's like a radiance. It's like something that they can't describe, but it's incredibly impelling for others because they kind of like want what you have. It's just like, what are you on, Scorpio? What are you doing? What are you taking? How do you get to be that way? How do you get to live that way? I want some of that. And it's like they want to be bonded to that. They want to, like, let's say, formalize that with you. Like, show us what you got, Scorpio. Share it with us. Do it in a formal way that we can celebrate together. So it isn't just like, chilling out and, the chance to enjoy all the bounties of Jupiter for yourself, Scorpio. It's all about the bigger picture where it's almost like you can be a beacon. You can be a lighthouse. You can be a transmitter, a transceiver of the energy of heaven, the healing power of love in a way that benefits everybody. And people really dig that. They would want to marry themselves to that kind of energy. They would want to celebrate that formally with you, like on the stage, in the almost like in the spotlight, so that it's almost like you become a star, Scorpio, for being able to do this. And it doesn't mean that you're just like this amazing, dazzling, you know, extra special being that's better than everybody else. It's more that you're doing things in a way that works, and that triggers and inspires others that they want to share with you. It's like they want to come to your party, but they don't want to just, it's not just hanging out at the pub at the corner. It's like making it into an event. Okay? All right. So what happens if you mess up on these decisions? What happens if you do it right? Okay. So what it does, I feel this is very much to do with the Neptune and Pisces energy right now. Going through December, I think you're going to become aware of what we were just talking about, of how the Jupiter and Scorpio thing is so beautifully aligned with the Neptune and Pisces things that it's kind of above and beyond your typical Jupiter and Scorpio transit. It's much more about this beautiful new spiritual landscape that is going to unfold in front of you, where you get to become very close to the veil. Not only the veil itself, but you get the chance to go behind the veil, like they do in The Wizard of Oz. I'm not saying it's just some funny little old man behind the veil. All I'm trying to suggest here is that by your courage, your diligence, your ability to liberate yourself, the ability to take what works, leave behind what doesn't work, no matter how much you love it, love you first, make these bold moves, and living it by example. That's a huge turn on for everybody else, and they want to do that for you, celebrate that with you. But it gives you this sensation like you actually are like getting that sensation of what it's like to be very, very close to the divine. Have a very, very direct communion with the great beyond, with your angels, with the energy of heaven, where you can communicate very, very, very closely, and they can communicate very, very closely with you. So it's very, very vivid, very, very colorful, very tangible for you in evidential ways, that you could almost be like a spokesperson of the energy of heaven here, like you actually know what you're talking about, like you could even perhaps like write books upon it or something like that, or be that person where, you don't have to be some like, fill up stadiums to tell people how awesome you are and how the how-to book of how to be so awesome. It's more that you just go off and live your Scorpio life, and other people get it because you're just living your life by example, and you just radiate that energy, and it's a super turn on for others. Okay. And of course, if you mess up on the decision, then this turns to fog. Okay. And people are going to be kind of, they won't even notice you. Okay. So why waste this opportunity? It's an amazing chance for you. So let's have a look. Whoa. Whoa. So this, again, it's more about the energy of opportunity here, which is very much in alignment with the energy of Jupiter. So going in through December and coming into 2018, you're going to feel huge changes, big, big changes, where this energy of spirituality, I think, is really going to become amplified in your life, in your world. And it's going to take you to new, higher levels of understanding and wisdom in ways that can be understood by the layperson. In other words, if you're going to go on this epic journey and you're going to bring it down to earth, you're going to like invoke the healing power of love, bring it down to earth in a way that's tangible, that's good. It can be celebrated and enjoyed in a formal manner. And it's kind of almost like being a little bit like a guru, but you don't even have to tell people like, oh, I'm a guru. No, you don't have to do that. You just have to live by example, and people get it. So it's almost like the outcome can be that you do have a chance to attain this wisdom, this new higher knowledge, but it's in a way, it isn't all just wooey. It isn't all fog and mist and you just wandering around kind of going like, oh, wow, I get it. Oh, who wants to hang out, man? This is so cool. No, this is about really knowing it, really having it, and being able to define it in language, in words, and coming back down to earth and sharing that with people at the party. Like, hey, guess what I discovered, everybody? This is how it works in the great beyond. I went across the veil. I saw what I had to see. And guess what I found out? I'm going to tell you. And we're going to celebrate. And everyone else kind of goes, Wow, that's so cool because we wanted to know. And if you know and you can tell us, that's great. Let's celebrate. Okay? I know I'm kind of going a bit over the top here, Scorpio. I just can't help it. That's what I feel for you. All right? So please make the best of it. Thank you so, so much. Watch your sun, moon, and rising. Understand it really is all about the healing power of love and having the courage to receive and transmit and celebrate and share that wisdom that you get from behind the veil. Thank you so much. All the best. Bye bye, Scorpio. Have a super December and a super holiday. Bye.